You're obviously angry that I went to your friend Alistair and that he told me you knew someone named Irene. You think I overstepped my bounds.
Overstep. Overstep.
You think I overstepped my bounds. What is it?
You're right. I have been cutting you off. It amounts to sulking, and it...
Sulk. Sulk.
It amounts to sulking, and it is... Shall we?
Jay and Amy Myros. They're
J.
Jay and Amy Myros. It was like waking up in the middle of a nightmare that I thought I'd stopped having a long time ago.
Is that because of the uncanny similarities to...
Uncanny. Uncanny.
Is that because of the uncanny similarities to... Always nice when a psychopath grooms himself to look the part, don't you think?
The question is, why copycat a home invader?
Invader. Invader.
The question is, why copycat a home invader?
But that depends on what we find in the shoe closet. I noticed something odd in the old case files. 2 of the safes that Cruz looted were
Loot. Loot.
2 of the safes that Cruz looted were Well, that's a fair question. My guess is the perpetrator wanted a little something to memorialize the occasion.
Memorialize. Memorialize.
Wanted a little something to memorialize the occasion. Back to the way that they were.
You know I'm not going to do that.
Well then, welcome to our new arrangement. Same as the old one, without the goodwill that you'd accrued.
Accrue. Accrue.
Same as the old one, without the goodwill that you'd accrued. Are the details of my personal life, which are uniquely my own, and which I will not cheapen by allowing them to become...
Cheapen. Cheapen.
And which I will not cheapen by allowing them to become... which are uniquely my own, and which I will not cheapen by allowing them to become grist for your tedious recovery mill.
Tedious. Tedious.
Grist for your tedious recovery mill.
He addressed to a guy named Julian Walsh. Guy's a contractor. The Myroses hired him to remodel their kitchen.
Remodel. Remodel.
The Myroses hired him to remodel their kitchen.
I don't know what you want me to say.
Well, listen, we'll be more inclined to believe you if...
Incline. Incline.
We'll be more inclined to believe you if...
Okay, I'll cut this off and get us a warrant.
Give him time to get rid of the evidence. Mr. Walsh, do you have a lavatory I might use?
Lavatory. Lavatory.
Mr. Walsh, do you have a lavatory I might use?
You have to understand, this is my nuclear option. I've never felt the need to go to a client's rehab before.
Rehab. Rehab.
I've never felt the need to go to a client's rehab before.
Yes, but Mr. Holmes isn't a typical client.
He just won't let me help him. He's so adamant about being above all that.
Adamant. Adamant.
He's so adamant about being above all that.
More efficiently than any computer. In both of these killings, and in last night's murders, the slugs had the...
Slug. Slug.
And in last night's murders, the slugs had the...
No way. Cruz did it. He told us he did it.
It wouldn't be the first false confession in the annals of...
Annal. Annal.
It wouldn't be the first false confession in the annals of... With you and Detective D'Amico, I noticed that you didn't greet each other, you didn't say goodbye.
You just got done dissecting one of my old cases.
Dissect. Dissect.
You just got done dissecting one of my old cases.
I'll give you an insight. He's childish and self-absorbed. He's
Childish. Childish.
childish and self-absorbed. He's
calms them down. Everyone tells me I probably should just spray the hives with poison, but...
Hive. Hive.
Just spray the hives with poison, but...
Tolstoy's War and Peace. Your file says you were functionally illiterate when you confessed to the murders.
Functionally. Functionally.
Functionally illiterate. when you confess the murders. I thought we could have a quick word with her, see if there's anything to the notion that she recanted Wade Cruz's alibi.
Recant. Recant.
That she recanted Wade Cruz's alibi. Like you were trying to clear your throat. And when you did answer him, your vocal intonation was markedly different. Now,
Intonation. Intonation.
your vocal intonation was markedly different. Now,
My mom died 4 years ago. Leukemia.
Leukemia. Leukemia.
Leukemia.
Trying to find out if Wade Cruz is innocent, watched the tapes. He held his tongue, but he couldn't help gloating about it.
Gloat. Gloat.
But he couldn't help gloating about it.
putting our differences aside, come downstairs.
If you need my help, you know I'm game, but if this is some sort of prank...
Prank. Prank.
But if this is some sort of prank...
You're good with that sort of thing. In the first interrogation of Wade Cruz, they served him his coffee in a disposable cup.
Disposable. Disposable.
They served him his coffee in a disposable cup. Nardan has spent a decade in prison, bereft of his favorite obsession.
Bereft. Bereft.
Bereft of his favorite obsession.
You kept that mug just in case. Good to have a trump card, huh?
Trump. Trump.
Good to have a trump card, huh?
But this place smells worse than the outside.
Stale cigarette smoke. Cheap.
Stale. Stale.
Stale cigarette smoke. Cheap. Stale cigarette smoke. Cheap cologne.
Cologne. Cologne.
Cheap cologne. Stale cigarette smoke. Cheap cologne. A whiff of existential despair.
With. With.
A whiff of existential despair. On the ceiling above Nardan's bed, the kind of marks a racquetball might make if it was thrown repeatedly upwards.
Upwards. Upwards.
If it was thrown repeatedly upwards. You stand on it, you flatten it. The cigarettes that we found at the crime scene had been ground out. Victor Nardan put them out in an ashtray.
Victor. Victor.
Victor Nardan put them out in an ashtray. Someone would be the one man who stood to benefit from someone else being implicated in the crimes. Wade Cruz, working in tandem with someone on the outside.
Tandem. Tandem.
Wade Cruz, working in tandem with someone on the outside.
About this more than me. All you've done is scare up a bunch of circumstantial evidence that...
Circumstantial. Circumstantial.
A bunch of circumstantial evidence that...
When my colleagues approach him with the deal to reduce his sentence in exchange for the name of his accomplice.
Accomplice. Accomplice.
In exchange for the name of his accomplice. Is he going to hesitate for even a second before he renounces you?
Renounce. Renounce.
Before he renounces you? $1,000 shoes.
Your son told us where you hid them. Same place you stashed that pistol.
Stash. Stash.
Same place you stashed that pistol.